Have you ever wondered why some people are able to prosper financially while others always seem to be struggling to get out of the same place? Maybe you've already tried to save money, work more, or even look for new sources of income, but things don't seem to be going anywhere. The truth is that often the problem is not in how much we earn, but in the habits we cultivate. What if I told you that the Bible contains timeless teachings that can transform the way you handle your finances? Yes, biblical principles not only strengthen our faith, but they also offer clear paths to achieving financial stability, building wealth, and living a life of purpose. In this video, we will explore together 8 powerful habits that can not only change your relationship with money, but also bring peace, security, and prosperity to your life and your family. No matter your financial situation today, these teachings have the potential to take you out of the cycle of worry and put you on a more solid and abundant path. Stay with me until the end because, in addition to understanding how these habits work, you will discover how to apply them in a practical way in your daily life. Imagine being able to escape financial hardship, sleep peacefully knowing that you are prepared for the future, and, at the same time, live in line with God's purposes. That's what awaits you. If this topic is already making sense to you, take the opportunity now to subscribe to the channel. This way, you won't miss any content that can help you build the financial and spiritual life you deserve. Shall we go together? Now, let's get straight to the content. 1. Diversify sources of income. Have you ever stopped to think about the importance of having more than one source of income? Imagine depending exclusively on your salary or a single business. If something goes wrong, like an economic crisis or a change in the market, your entire livelihood could be jeopardized. This is a risk that many people face daily, but it can be minimized with a simple strategy: diversifying your sources of income. The Bible, in Ecclesiastes 11 verse 6, gives us a precious lesson about this. Sow your seed in the morning, and in the evening do not let your hands be idle, for you do not know which of them will prosper, this or that, or whether both will be equally good. In other words, it is essential to look for different opportunities to ensure financial stability. When we talk about diversification, many people immediately think about having multiple jobs, but it goes beyond that. Diversifying means exploring your skills and talents. If you're good at something, why not turn it into an additional source of income? It could be selling products, offering services, or even investing in something that can generate a long-term return. Diversification also brings security. Having multiple sources of income means that if one fails, you still have others to support you and your family. Furthermore, by seeking new opportunities, you acquire new knowledge, develop skills, and become more prepared to face financial challenges. However, diversifying does not mean abandoning what you already have. On the contrary, it is crucial to maintain excellence and dedication in every activity you undertake. Remember that the quality of what you do can determine your success. Finally, diversifying your sources of income is not just a matter of money, but also of wisdom. It's a way to be prepared for the unexpected, ensure stability, and build a more solid and prosperous future. So ask yourself, what can you do today to start diversifying? 2. Invest wisely. Have you ever heard that you need to make your money work for you? This is one of the greatest financial lessons we can learn, and the Bible teaches us about it too. In Matthew 25, in the parable of the talents, Jesus talks about the importance of multiplying the resources we receive. God gives us talents, but it is our responsibility to use them intelligently, including in the financial field. Investing is not just for big business people or people with fortunes. Anyone can start, even with small amounts. The idea is to make money grow over time. Opening an account with a brokerage, understanding financial products, and starting to invest can seem daunting at first. It's normal to feel afraid or think you lack knowledge, but that's where the importance of taking the first step comes in. The Bible teaches us that we must be good stewards of the resources that God puts in our hands. Investing is a way of honoring this, as it demonstrates that we are planning for the future and acting responsibly. It's not about taking unnecessary risks, but about making conscious decisions that can bear fruit. In addition to multiplying resources, the act of investing teaches us discipline and patience. You begin to understand that solid results do not appear overnight. It is a constant learning process, where each choice made contributes to building a more stable financial base. The interesting thing is that by investing, you not only grow financially, but you also develop skills that can be applied in other areas of your life, such as planning and decision-making. These skills become valuable tools for dealing with daily challenges. Now, if you're enjoying these tips and believe they can transform the way you deal with money, don't forget to like this video. This helps us reach more people and share these important teachings. Remember, investing is not just a financial act, but a demonstration of wisdom and faith in the future. Start today, even if it's small, and see how it can positively impact your life. 3. Plan finances consciously. Have you ever thought about what your life would be like if every financial decision was planned? We often make decisions on impulse, spend without thinking about tomorrow, and end up getting stuck with debts or unforeseen events. The Bible, however, gives us clear guidance on the importance of planning. In Luke 14, verse 28, Jesus asks, "Which of you, wanting to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, to see whether he has enough money to complete it?" This passage is a powerful reminder of the need to plan before acting. Planning your finances doesn't just mean doing the math. It is an act of wisdom and responsibility. By organizing your resources, you avoid waste, define priorities, and can direct your efforts to achieve greater goals. Good financial planning starts with knowing your reality. How much do you earn? How much do you spend? Where can you save? These simple questions help you understand where the problem is and how to adjust it. And it's not just about cutting expenses, but about learning to use money strategically. Furthermore, financial planning is a tool that allows us to think about the long term. It helps us build a solid foundation for the future, whether to guarantee stability for the family, make dreams come true, or even help those in need. The Bible encourages us to be farsighted, to think about tomorrow, and to act with gratitude for what we already have. Now, an important question for you to reflect on. Do you usually plan your expenses, or do you leave things to be resolved as they arise? Answer in the comments, because we want to know how you see this issue. Finally, financial planning also helps us live in a more balanced way. It frees us from the anxiety caused by a lack of control and puts us on a more conscious and productive path. And the most interesting thing, when we plan, we are able to avoid excesses and focus on values that really matter, such as love, compassion, and generosity. So, what are you waiting for to start planning your finances? After all, organizing the present is a first step to ensuring a future of peace and prosperity. For living below your income standard, one of the biggest challenges in many people's financial lives is learning to spend less than they earn. We live in a society where consumerism is encouraged all the time, and the idea of have now and pay later may seem attractive, but it leads many people into complicated financial situations. The Bible, however, offers us precious advice in Proverbs 21, verse 20. "In the house of the wise there are stores of food and oil, but the fool devours everything he can." This teaching shows us the importance of saving and using resources wisely. Spending less than you earn does not mean living in deprivation or giving up all the things that bring comfort and pleasure. On the contrary, it is about managing resources well to ensure that there is always something saved for the future or for emergency situations. A great example of this is the story of Joseph in Egypt, who was instructed by God to save grain during the 7 years of plenty to face the 7 years of scarcity. This biblical lesson teaches us that prudence and moderation in the present are essential to overcome challenges that may arise in the future. To put this into practice, it is necessary to differentiate between what is truly essential and what is superfluous. Before making a purchase, ask yourself, do I really need this right now? This simple habit can avoid unnecessary expenses and help build a financial reserve. Furthermore, Living below the income standard allows you to direct resources towards investments that can generate more security and financial freedom in the future. It's like planting seeds. You give up consuming everything now to ensure a bigger harvest later on. By adopting this practice, you will also reduce your financial stress, as you will not be constantly worried about making the money last until your next paycheck. This brings more peace of mind and freedom to enjoy life without feeling suffocated by debts or financial commitments. Finally, living in moderation is a demonstration of wisdom and gratitude. By managing what you have well, you honor the resources God has placed in your hands and prepare yourself to be a blessing in the lives of others. This practice creates a solid foundation for a more stable and prosperous future. 5. Create an emergency fund. Have you ever stopped to think about how prepared you would be if you face an unforeseen financial event tomorrow? The Bible warns us about the unpredictability of life in Ecclesiastes 9 verse 1. No one knows when trouble will come. This wisdom teaches us the importance of being prepared. And one of the most practical ways to do this is by creating an emergency fund. Having an emergency fund means setting aside a sufficient amount to cover essential expenses, such as housing, food, and health care, for a period of between 6 and 12 months. This reserve is a true financial shield, protecting you from falling into debt when an unforeseen event arises, such as job loss or a medical emergency. Building this fund requires discipline. Small daily savings, such as avoiding unnecessary spending or replacing spending habits, can make a huge difference over time. The Bible also talks about this in Ecclesiastes 7 verse 12. Wisdom is a protection, just like money. This reinforces that taking care of your finances prudently is a form of wisdom. Keeping an emergency fund accessible, but separate from day-to-day expenses, is essential. It should only be reserved for truly urgent situations. This way, you will be prepared to face challenges without compromising your financial stability. In addition to financial security, an emergency fund provides peace of mind. Knowing that you are prepared to deal with unforeseen events brings peace and allows you to focus energy on other goals, such as investments or new projects. Creating an emergency fund is not just an isolated goal, but part of a larger strategy for good stewardship of the resources God entrusts to us. It is an essential step to building a solid foundation and living in a balanced and safe way, aligned with biblical principles. 6. Constantly seek wisdom. Wisdom is one of the greatest treasures we can seek in our lives, and the Bible reinforces this in Proverbs 3 verses 13 to 15. Happy is the man who finds wisdom, and the man who gains understanding, because it is more profitable than silver and yields more than gold. It is more precious than rubies, and nothing you desire can compare with it. These words show us that wisdom not only enriches our financial decisions, but also transforms every area of our lives. Seeking wisdom goes beyond accumulating knowledge. It's about applying what we learn in a practical and responsible way. In a financial context, this means understanding how to manage money, learning about investments, budgeting, and long-term planning. Every step taken towards financial education is an investment in your future. The Bible teaches us to avoid impulsive decisions, which often lead to financial losses and regrets. By seeking wisdom, you learn to reflect before acting, considering the consequences of each choice. This is fundamental to building a stable and balanced future. Wisdom also helps us avoid traps such as uncontrolled consumerism or the desire for quick wealth. Instead, it teaches us to value what is lasting and truly meaningful, such as stability, generosity, and purpose. Furthermore, the search for wisdom is continuous. You must always be willing to learn, whether from books, courses, mentors, or even from your own mistakes. The Bible reminds us that it is never too late to seek understanding and grow, both financially and spiritually. Ultimately, financial wisdom is not just about achieving wealth, but about living consciously and responsibly, honoring the resources God entrusts to us. When we seek wisdom, we not only prosper, but we also become instrumental in positively impacting the lives of others. 7. Work diligently. Diligent work is one of the main keys to achieving success and prosperity, and the Bible reinforces this truth in Proverbs 12, verse 27. The lazy does not roast his game, but the diligent makes good use of his possessions. This teaches us that effort and dedication to what we do are rewarded, both materially and spiritually. Working diligently means putting your heart into everything you do, as taught in Colossians 3, verses 23 to 24. Whatever you do, do it with all your heart, as working for the Lord and not for men. This perspective transforms our work into an act of worship and motivates us to do our best. Regardless of the activity or profession, dedication to work is not only a way to guarantee a living, but also an opportunity to develop our gifts and talents. Every effort made with excellence brings us closer to our goals, allowing us to be a blessing to ourselves, our families, and the society around us. Diligence also teaches us to persevere, even in the face of difficulties. The Bible encourages us in Galatians 6, verse 9, "And let us not become weary in doing good, for at the right time we will reap a harvest, if we do not lose heart." This verse reminds us that constant and dedicated work always bears fruit at the right time. Furthermore, diligent work helps us grow as people. He teaches us about responsibility, discipline, and the value of each achievement. With this, we develop a strong character and a long-term vision, essential to achieve financial and emotional prosperity. By working with commitment, we also have the chance to positively impact other people's lives. Whether by example of dedication or by the fruits of our effort, we can contribute to the well-being of the community and strengthen bonds that bring meaning to our existence. Ultimately, working diligently is not just about accumulating material possessions, but about honoring God with our actions and building a life rich in values, purpose, and fulfillment. 8. Practice generosity. Generosity is one of the most important pillars of the Christian life and one of the keys to achieving an enriched life, both materially and spiritually. In Luke 6, verse 38, Jesus teaches us, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap." This verse shows us that when we are generous, we bless others, and as a result, we receive blessings in return. Being generous is not limited to donating money or material goods. Generosity can be expressed in many ways, such as taking time to help someone, offering words of encouragement, or sharing knowledge that could benefit someone else. These gestures, no matter how small they may seem, have the power to transform lives and bring meaning to both the giver and the receiver. The practice of generosity brings us closer to fundamental values, such as love and compassion. When we help others, we strengthen relationships and create an environment of cooperation and mutual care. This reflects the heart of God, who is generous to us all. Furthermore, generosity breaks the chains of selfishness and material attachment. By giving up something to benefit someone else, we learn to value what really matters and to depend more on God than on earthly goods. This attitude brings us peace and inner freedom. It is important to remember that generosity should not be practiced with the intention of getting something in return, but rather as a genuine demonstration of love and empathy. The Bible teaches us that God loves those who give cheerfully, and this feeling should guide our giving actions. Finally, being generous is also a way to impact entire communities. When we practice generosity as a group, whether through donations to institutions or social projects, we create opportunities for more people to have access to a dignified life full of hope. Generosity is, therefore, an expression of faith and gratitude. It is an act that enriches us from the inside out, showing that the true value of life is in sharing and helping to build a better world.